Alright, welcome back. This is a big one. In this video I'm going to be creating Blitzcrank's rocket grab ability. But before we do that, in the last video I added animations to our Blitzcrank, but I didn't do his attack animation. This is super simple, so let's just do it real quick. Now I already have the animator set up so that it'll transition to the attack animation when the attack parameter is triggered. All I have to do is go to my player object and scroll down to the combat script. In the combat script, I need to add an animator variable, and then I need to trigger the attack parameter when the player does an attack. With this added to my script, I can then go back to Unity, and if I play my project, I can then walk around, and if I right-click on an enemy, Blitzcrank will then attack and do his attack animation. So now that we have that squared away, let's work on Blitz's rocket grab. The first thing that we need is a script to control the player's inputs for when they want to cast an ability. So I've created this script called ability cast. Alright, so in this script we have a few variables, and the first set of variables is related to the player's input on which hotkey we want to use for this ability. In this case we're using Q. And just a reminder that for this example, I am just using the old input system to make things a little simpler. We then have a layer mask for the ground. This is for raycasting when we click. We want to send a raycast down to the ground to know where we're clicking. We then have variables related to this ability's cooldown, and I'm essentially creating a cooldown timer. The next group of variables is related to the actual casting of the ability. We have a bool for the state in which we're casting before we actually trigger the ability, a transform for where we want to instantiate the projectile object, a game object for the actual projectile prefab, player objects animator, a variable for this player objects animator, and then a few other variables just related to convenience. The next group of variables is for communicating with our character movement controller. This is going to be so that we can disrupt the player's movement when triggering an ability. And finally, we have a camera variable to hold the camera. This is also going to be for sending raycasts down to the ground. In the awake function, we're just initializing some of our variables, such as our camera and our movement controller. In the update function, we are counting down our cooldown timer. This next if statement initializes our casting state. So if we're not currently casting and the cooldown timer is less than or equal to 0, and the player presses their hotkey, then we set is casting equal to true. In this if statement, we're checking to see if the player wants to cancel their ability before they've actually fired it. So they've clicked the hotkey, but they haven't clicked the left mouse button yet. And if they click the right mouse button, then it'll cancel that ability. And then finally, we have our if statement where we actually trigger our ability. So if the player presses the left mouse button, we're essentially going to get our mouse position and try to raycast the ground at that point. Inside this function, you can see here we're doing a raycast, and we return whether we get a true or false. If we do hit the ground, then we want to snap our player to rotate to that point, because ultimately we're going to fire out Blitz's hand in that direction. We're then going to fire the ability, set our cooldown timer, and disrupt our movement. So let's look at our fire ability function next. Inside this function, we're essentially doing two things. The first is that we're triggering our animation for casting the ability, and the second is that we're instantiating our projectile. With that, we can then go back to Unity, and here I've attached my ability cast script to my player object, and I've set some of the variables. At this point, we now need to create our projectile. And for that, I need to open up Blender. Here in Blender, I have my Blitz model. And in the last video, I already talked about how I duplicated the right hand. So I'm going to disable everything else in the scene. And I'm going to position the right hand so that it's center on the origin. And I'm going to close its fingers. I then need to export this model to my Unity project. Inside Unity, I can bring this model into my scene and apply its material. And the next thing that I need to do is create a script for this projectile. Now there's really three things that we need this ability to do. We need the object to fire out like a projectile in a straight forward line, but we only want this object to travel a certain distance. The next thing that we need this object to do is to be able to detect when it collides with an enemy object. If it collides with an enemy object before it reaches the end of its distance traveled, then we want it to pull the enemy back to its initial starting position, at which point it can delete itself, leaving the enemy object at the new position. If it doesn't collide with an enemy object and it reaches the end of its distance traveled, then it can just delete itself, doing nothing. The third thing that we need this object to do is to update a line renderer that will travel behind it and stretch between the starting position and its end position. So to do this, I've created this chain pull projectile script. Inside this script, we have a few more variables. The first set of variables are related to the speed it'll travel and the max distance. The next variable is related to a return position offset in case we want to adjust exactly where we want the enemy to end up in relation to Blitz. The next set of variables are related to hitting an object, so we have a layer mask which will only detect enemy objects, and a bool on whether or not we want to destroy the object if it hits. We then have variables related to the pullback, the time it'll take to pull an enemy to its destination, and variables related to disabling the enemy's nav mesh and rigid body. We then have variables related to the line renderer, and a few more variables related to the player's rigid body and the starting and ending position. In the awake and start function, we're just initializing some of our variables related to our rigid body, our line renderer, and our spawn points. In the update function, we're looking to see if we've collided with an object. If we haven't collided with an object, then we're checking the distance traveled, and if we've reached the max distance, then we'll destroy this object. If we haven't reached our max distance, then we're continuing to update our line render. And this function just updates our line render based on the start position and our current position. So there's only 2 points in our line render. If we wanted to add a little wave to the line, then we would have to spend a little more time inside this function. We then have the onTriggerEnter function. We're going to use a trigger instead of a collider. That way we're not pushing any objects with force. Inside this function, we're checking to see if we've already hit an object. If we have, then we want to return. That way we're not hitting more than one unit. If we do hit an object, we're checking to see if the layer mask matches so that we're only running into enemy units. If we hit an enemy, then we want to set our has hit equal to true. We're then getting the root of the target object, and we're going to pass it into this coroutine called pull target to return pose. Inside this coroutine, we have another sanity check, making sure that we actually have a target. We're then getting the nav mesh agent and the rigid body of the enemy unit, and we're getting bools based on whether or not it's enabled and whether or not it's kinematic. We then want to reset the agent's path and set the rigid body of the target to kinematic. Then, based on the pull duration, we want to calculate where we want to set the target's position using alert function, which is going to be between its starting position and the chain pull's starting position, where it shot out from. Once the target has reached its end position, we can then re-enable its rigid body and its nav mesh agent, and we'll destroy this current game object. I know that seems like a lot, but it's really not too bad. And so with that, we can go back to Unity. And with our Blitz hand selected, there's a couple things that we need to do. First, we need to make it a child to an empty game object. That way the forward axis is pointed in the right direction. We'll then make this parent object the prefab and have it hold all the components. The first component is a capsule collider. I wanted to use a capsule collider because if we use a sphere collider, then if there's shorter units, we might actually pass over the top of them. And so with the capsule collider, I just went into edit mode and dragged its bottom handle down to the ground. I then set the capsule to is triggered. We then need a rigid body in which I disabled use gravity. And we can then attach our chain pull projectile script. Here I can change the speed and the max distance. I also set my enemy mask to just be units for now. And finally, we need to create the line renderer. So as a child, I created a line object. I then created a simple unlit material, and I set the color to a dark gray. I then set the rest of the variables on the chain pull projectile script and turned this object into a prefab. After which I could remove from my scene. And on my player object, I just wanted to make sure that I set the rest of the variables for the ability cast. So I have a spawn point on my player object, which is just out in front of the Blitz model. I have the projectile prefab, the animator, and the character movement controller script. One final note before I test this ability is that with the animation of my Blitz model, I never disabled the right hand in Blender. So to do this, I just duplicated the animation. That way I could edit the animation in the animation window, and I just made it so that in the first frame, the hand is disabled, and by the final frame, it's re-enabled. I then swapped out that animation in the animator window. And so with that said, let's go ahead and test out this project. All right, so here I have my Blitz model and he's playing his idle animation. I can click and he'll do his walk animation. If I press Q and then left click on an enemy object, you can see it shoots out his right hand and pulls the enemy to the player. Now, obviously this isn't perfect and it doesn't match exactly what happens in League of Legends. I could spend a whole lot more time working on polishing these mechanics, working on the visuals, or even creating some audio. But ultimately, I've accomplished what I set out to do with this series. I've recreated the basics behind a simple chain pull mechanic and recreated Blitzcrank's rocket grab. Now at this point, it's up to you on where to go next. Do you want to add a cool chain pull to your projects? And how will you expand on your chain pull mechanic? Will you add cool visuals and sound effects, or will you customize it so maybe you shoot out 3 or more chains in different directions? Now, I hope you found this information helpful. I hope that you now have an idea of how to add a chain pull mechanic to your own projects. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and also make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you can be up to date whenever I publish new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.